Hermen Hulst has had several interviews recently about PlayStation's future, where they're going, and I pulled 5 of the most important quotes from his interviews to tell you exactly what he said and discuss my reaction to it. Thank you so much for watching. Let's get right into it. And while I have you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when this content goes live. So today we're talking about an interview Hermen Hulst had with a French outlet, and I watched the whole thing, and I took notes about the parts that I think are the most important, including what Sony plans to do with PC and mobile in the near future. So let's start with quote number 1. We are also very excited about finding new audiences, finding new players. You know, PC is growing, so we've been releasing some of our titles on PC. We're standing up a mobile division as well, all in an effort to find even more people that can enjoy our wonderful franchises and wonderful worlds that we created. Now, I've talked about this a lot, but PlayStation is not shying away from getting into the PC market, regardless of what fans think about the situation. They really want to go all in on PC with franchises like Uncharted finding their way there. There's rumors that Returnal is going to end up there. Uncharted's right around the corner, and I honestly can't wait to play. I can't wait to play Returnal again on PC. The idea that they're going to keep stuff on console has just been further and further whittled down to the point where we're actually going to talk about their exclusivity period that they have now publicly commented on and how they're changing that strategy. So let's dive back into this quote. Going forward, I think we'll see at least a year between releases on our platform, on PlayStation, and on the PC platform, with the exception of live service games. It allows us to continue to invest even deeper into it allows us to continue to invest even deeper into their projects. And what he's talking about is the PC release of a game allows them to reinvest that money back into PlayStation and then make new games. So buy these games coming to PC, and I think only like the worst type of fanboy is gatekeeping a PC release for PlayStation games. It's just ridiculous with Hermen Hulst even saying, hey, we utilize that money to fund new projects that we're going to work on in the near future. So they talk about PlayStation coming to PC and what that exclusivity window is going to look like. They also briefly mentioned mobile in that first paragraph. PC is growing, so we've been releasing some of our titles on PC. We're standing up a mobile division as well, all in an effort to find even more people that can enjoy our wonderful franchises and the wonderful worlds that we created. The idea of having this PlayStation walled garden where that's the only place that you can play, it's just going away. And I'm really happy with this Hermen Hulst interview where he kind of lays out their strategy and talks about how they're going to utilize that funding. Selfishly, I want PC day and date. Of course, I'm not shy about saying that. That's just how I feel. But if PlayStation's strategy is to wait 1 year, that's not that long to wait if you want to have the definitive PC experience. But I do have to wonder, as that barrier to entry on PC has come down, if eventually they will reduce that window even further. So they also talk about live service games, saying live service games are a little bit different in nature because you want to have really strong community, strong engagement the right way, right when you go live. So in the case of our live service offerings, we might go day and date with PC and the PlayStation platform. And the most recent example of this would be the Horizon content that was leaked in that document from NVIDIA, and the recent documents that have been going around talking about some sort of a Horizon cooperative experience. In that vein, we're going to talk about the quote about what they're working on, but I actually built a little bit of a chart to break it down. So we're going to talk about this in just a second, but they have 25 total projects in the works right now. Here's what Hermen Hulst said about what they're working on. So there's new projects that we're prototyping or have in conceptualization stage, or pre-production stage. 25, that's roughly the number that we're working on at the moment. Almost half of those are new ideas, new properties, new IPs. So there's a good mixture of us working inside the most beloved franchises and coming up with new ideas to keep things fresh. That's awesome. I love the idea that he's like, we have 25 things on the table and we are working on new stuff also. Now, in my breakdown, I'll talk about what I think about that, but what I hope is that it's a little bit less of stuff like The Last of Us Part 1. Yes, we did just hear that rumor that the Horizon... Okay, get out of here, dude. I wanted to see gameplay. Sorry. There is, like, a lot of people regarded this quite highly. There's still controversy about whether or not it's because it's a $70 game, et cetera, et cetera. But the point is they're working on new IPs and new projects. And I hope all those old projects that they've discussed aren't just remakes or director's cuts. I hope they're brand new stuff. So here's sort of how I broke it down with some thoughts on this wonderful graphic that I made. So they have 25 total projects, 12 or 13 are new IP, 12 or 13 are existing IP, because he says about half. So one of them are getting one more. So for existing IP, I imagine that's sequels, so Marvel's Spider-Man 2, potentially, remakes, director's cuts, and PC ports. I'm curious, are those included with the existing IP list or not? I actually don't know. And I'm not clear on that. There's 12 to 13 single-player experiences, so within the 25, 12 or 13 of those are single-player, which is great. We know they have God of War Ragnarok, we know they have Marvel's Spider-Man 2, and Marvel's Wolverine in the works. I believe that's all that I know of, but that's actually something I could use your help on, because I'm like, what are PlayStation Studios specifically developing right now that we know of for sure? Not the other parties, not like the Star Wars projects coming from Aspire, the stuff that PlayStation Studios are developing right now. Here are the PC ports that we know about from the NVIDIA leak. We know about Ghost of Tsushima. These are based off an NVIDIA leak, and some of them have already come true. So it's Ghost of Tsushima was on the list, Demon's Souls, Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Forbidden West, Ratchet & Clank, Returnal. We've seen leaked footage of Returnal at this point, so that's all but confirmed. Sackboy has been confirmed, Miles Morales was confirmed, and Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, I mean, that's right around the corner, so that has been confirmed. The bottom 4 we've actually seen come to fruition, but it's interesting to hear Hermen talk about how Ratchet & Clank is a PS5 exclusive. That does make me wonder, well, is that ever going to come to PC? Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is the one I would imagine, but the one that was listed on the NVIDIA leak was Ratchet & Clank, period. They also have 12 live service projects will launch by 2025. About half, 5 or 6, will be for PC or mobile. So these aren't all just PlayStation 5 things. Live service games we know of or have heard of. The Horizon leak. We know about Last of Us multiplayer. We know there's the Firewalk game coming, a Haven Studios game, and a Savage Game Studios, the Genshin Impact mobile type game that has been discussed. So that's my rundown off the top of my head. And I had to write it out somehow to wrap my brain around all the different things PlayStation is doing right now, because it's a lot, but I know I forgot some stuff. So let me know what I forgot in the comments below. Anyway, what else did we say? We have 12 titles that I would qualify as live ops, live service titles in various stages of production. We have said that by 2025, about half the titles that will release will be off consoles. So will either be on PC or the mobile platform. So that's roughly the distribution that you look at. So there's stuff that's going to be coming out on mobile soon. There's stuff that's going to be coming to PC, and I have to imagine those are the PC ports for stuff like Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, which I'm hopeful about. Ghost of Tsushima is the one I really, really want at this point. Demon's Souls would also be great, but time will tell on that. Here's why I love Hermen Hulst. When he says something, I just really like how he says stuff, and he actually talked about the Activision acquisition a little bit by Microsoft, and here's what he said. Hermen Hulst insists that PlayStation's approach to acquisitions is very different. When we acquire teams, we look at what role they're going to play in our organization, he says. Obviously, I'm not going to speak what competing organizations do with their M&A strategy. So he straight up said, here's how we do it. I'm not going to comment on how Xbox or Microsoft is doing it. And I respect that a lot more than what we've seen from Jim Ryan. There's something about how Hermen Hulst presents things where it's really hard to be mad at the guy. I think there was an interview he did a while ago where he said something that I kind of disagreed with, but hands down, he is the best person that PlayStation should be putting on camera to do these interviews. Jim Ryan just constantly says something that just comes off the wrong way or rubs people the wrong way, and it's to their detriment. I wish there were more Hermen Hulst interviews as opposed to Jim Ryan interviews, because I think the general conception or general perception would be much more positive just about the PlayStation brand, period. Anyway, let's continue on that quote. Whoops. PlayStation has done a good job adapting to a dumpster fire of a situation. You only need to look at Sony's competitors to see how these shockwaves are still reverberating through the industry. He's referring to COVID, of course. Last month, it was announced that Nintendo's sequel to 2017's The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild won't see the light of day until May 2023. What should have been Xbox maker Microsoft's two bigs exclusive for the year in Starfield and Redfall are both skipping 2022 entirely. So he's basically saying like, hey, look, Microsoft couldn't even release their two big games for 2022. It would have like done exceptionally well for them. It didn't happen. We've been able to release games. I just love this style of responding. He's not really saying Xbox bad, Sony good. He's doing it in a way where he phrases it where he's like, hey, look, everybody's had challenges with COVID. Here's some of the negative things that other companies have had. We've figured out a way to release things with an excellent cadence. Maybe the whole strategy of having Jim Ryan just do all the bad news and Hermen Hulst be the good guy, maybe it works for them. It allows Hermen to keep that image, and then Jim has to take all the heat, well, as he should in his role. He also said, some of our biggest titles in the single-player narrative-driven space are also our most profitable titles. He's talking about whether or not their games are going to end up on other platforms. And a lot of people have talked about that, or some sort of divergence away from single-player experiences. We certainly don't want to forget the millions of active players on PlayStation 4. We want to ensure there are great games for them as well, Hulst says. We're evaluating it on a case-by-case basis. And obviously, Spider-Man is going to be a huge title. I wanted to show some B-roll of Spider-Man 2 here. But in addition to that, he says one more thing. He brings up that there's 114 million active PlayStation 4 users at the moment. So to not try and sell them something like, I don't know, Horizon Forbidden West, for example, I think that would be a little bit strange for them because it would put them in a negative spot. But he goes on to discuss their strategy for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 versus PlayStation 5 only. I can't see a world where PlayStation Studios would not carry on making these, but also continues experimenting. We encourage our teams to take creative risks. We always carry on making those. Obviously, it's really important to look at the creative vision that our teams are trying to achieve. What are the goals for that project? We release games like Ratchet, I typed Ratchet wrong, and Returnal that are exclusive to the PlayStation 5 platform. And going forward, we'll have Insomniac games with Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Marvel's Wolverine that will release on PlayStation 5. Let's not forget that there are still 114 million active PlayStation 4 users at the moment. So we want to ensure that there are great games coming for them as well. We're taking a case-by-case view on what is the right thing to do here. Why didn't they just say that at the beginning? Let's not forget about 114 million active PlayStation 4 users at the moment. Why did they ever make some sort of statement? And I'm talking about the We Believe in Generations thing that would be construed as though, hey, look, yeah, we're going to be doing a bunch of PS5 stuff only. Was that ever their strategy? Why would you just flush away a potential 114 million sales? I think they always wanted to do multi-platform, and I don't really understand why they ever made a statement like we're going to do PlayStation 5. That's just nuts. Of course, someday you will only do PlayStation 5, but when your install base is like 5 million, sure, maybe you'll do a few, but you're not just going to have all games be PlayStation 5 only, because you're not going to make any money. You need a bigger install base in order to recoup that cost. So I love how he said it. I love these Hermen Hulst interviews. And honestly, I wish I talked more about Hermen Hulst interviews and less about Jim Ryan interviews, because Hermen Hulst says a lot of really, really great stuff, and it gives you a clearer picture of how he works and how PlayStation works, as opposed to how Jim Ryan does it. Anyway, I wanted to share those with you today. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody hit my subscribe button, hit that bell to know when this content goes live. I greatly appreciate you very much. Thank you so much to the members. Members, I appreciate you. And if you want to become one, you can click that join button in the bottom below. I've really got to go because I'm running late this morning, but I will see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.